Welcome everyone back to weekly weather updates, and in today's video we're going to have a look at the latest from the live radar. Then we'll have a look at the UK Met Office 5-day precipitation and temperature, as we do have some stunning spring days coming up. And then we'll also have a look at the longer range outlook with the GFS, ECMWF and the Ensembles, as it does in fact, even though right now it looks really warm, it does look like we will be going much colder next week, potentially seeing a real Arctic blast with cold air spilling out the Arctic, as we're seeing a bit of blocking forming as a result of the stratospheric warming we have seen recently. So we have a look at that in the second half of the video, and it does look like it will be perhaps even 10 degrees plus colder than it is right now, with temperatures in the mid-single digits, wintry showers and overnight hard frost. So yeah, could be a big change on the way for the next week. So remember, if you enjoy my videos, make sure you like and subscribe, and remember to follow me on Twitter as well, the link's in the description. So to start on the live radar, you can see there is very little precipitation around. A few showers in the far west of Ireland and Northern Ireland, with some thicker cloud around the edge of the high pressure. There's also a few isolated showers, one just near Stafford, and further northwards a couple near Glasgow and Edinburgh. Just a few pop-up showers, but nothing too crazy. For many though, it has been pretty brilliant out there. A lot of sunshine around, some cloud around this morning, but it did break away to leave some stunning sunshine out there. It does look like though it will be wall-to-wall sunshine over the next few days, perhaps a few pop-up clouds here or there. It's very difficult to say exactly how much those cloud amounts will cover, but it doesn't look like there will be thick cloud at all. It will be, if any cloud forms at all, it will be very, very small amounts. So yeah, looking perfect conditions to be getting out there, enjoying yourself, perhaps even going to see the sunset. That will be amazing this time of year. So if you've got no plans, make sure you get out and do something fun like that in this warm spring-like weather. As I said, it does look like things will be all changing next week, with perhaps the winter coats, gloves and hats coming back out. So we do now have a look at the 5-day precipitation temperature. If we do first have a look at precipitation, you can see there were a few heavy showers forecasted, where we have seen a few isolated showers on the precipitation live radar. But they are sort of just will dissipate overnight, really. And you can see a few showers maybe in the far northeast through early hours of tomorrow. But by tomorrow afternoon, you can see many areas is really nice. All-to-all sunshine for quite a few. You can see across the Midlands, Northern England, perhaps a few pop-up clouds, and in those could be a few pop-up showers. But again, it will be very, very isolated, and you'll be unlucky to catch one. Through Wednesday evening, you see things still really great. Some more clouds spilling in from the west, but by Thursday, the north and the west perhaps cloudier. Few showers maybe, but again, for England and Wales, it is looking really quite amazing. Best conditions in the east and the south. Through Friday, things starting to cloud over a bit, and by Friday afternoon, still sunshine in the south, but further north across Scotland, some cloud and some precipitation. And by Saturday, still beautiful in the south, mid to high teens once again, beautiful sunshine, but for the north, more clouds spilling in. You can see by Sunday, still really good, very little precipitation at all, but perhaps some thicker cloud coming in from the east. And come next week, it does look like we'll be seeing more precipitation and cloud coming in from the north with a much colder air mass. So we do have a look at those max temperatures, see what they are showing. You can see today 18, 19 degrees. And we actually did see over 20 degrees in a few isolated spots, but I expect perhaps some more tomorrow. Now, overnight tonight, temperatures will drop down to mid-single digits for quite a few, so it is chilly when the sun sets. Although it is warm in the day, it is chilly from until maybe around 10 a.m, and then from about 7 p.m. onwards. It is pretty chilly out there. But tomorrow afternoon, once again, 17, 18, 19 degrees, very possible across the Midlands, East Anglia. Really, really quite great. Wherever we escape, where we see wall-to-wall sunshine, those will be the highest temperatures. And again, will be great skies out there. Make sure you get out and enjoy it, go see the sunset or whatever. Through Wednesday evening, things again are chilly, mid to high single digits. Few areas even get down to freezing, even in the south, in rural areas. But by Thursday afternoon, temperatures back up again, 16 to 18 degrees, perhaps a tad chillier by maybe a degree or two, but nothing too crazy. Still be really great out there. But across the far north and west, perhaps a little bit chillier with cloud building in. Again, chilly overnight, but by Friday afternoon, once again, 16 to 18 degrees, really quite pleasant. And you see that continues through Saturday, chilly overnight, and by Saturday afternoon, temperatures once again back up to 16, 17 degrees, but you can see mainly further southwards, the north starting to cool down a bit. And by Sunday, it's chilly overnight temperatures, and by the day, a little bit colder, perhaps only 14 to 15 degrees, maybe 16, 17 degrees in the far south and west, with clouds spilling in from the east. You can see across the North Sea, it's only 6 or 7 degrees, it's still chilly out there. We are, as I said, sort of March, April time is the peak cold sort of time for North Sea sea surface temperatures and generally temperatures over the North Sea. So any winds in from the east is going to be chilly. Regardless of the upper air temperatures, it's going to bring a little bit of chill to the air. So, yeah, further eastwards, perhaps towards the weekend and early next week, it's going to start to turn a little bit chilly, maybe only 9, 10 degrees, really. Whereas for areas further inland and to the west, potentially still 15, 16, 17 degrees. But if we now have a look at the GFS, have a look at the longer range, you can see at the moment winds are veering in from the south, and that's why it is warm out there. But as we see that high pressure progress over the next few days towards the weekend, we see those winds veer more towards an easterly to a northerly, and you see a big northerly blast by next Tuesday with bitterly cold air progressing in from the Arctic. Could even be snow within that. Wintry showers will be aplenty out there. It'll be really, really cold with wind chill around as well. And beyond that, you see towards the end of the run, we do start to see perhaps a westerly momentum start to pick up a little bit with more of an milder air coming in off the Atlantic, but it still looks quite cold. So if we do run on to have a look at those upper air temperatures over the next couple of weeks, you can see pretty around average to above average at the moment, warm. But as we head towards Sunday into Monday, we see that Arctic blast, bitterly cold air coming out of the Arctic, seeing the -5, if not getting towards -10, potentially a little channel low there. Heavy snow could be seen with that. We are in a real cold air mass for a good few days, especially further northwards as well. Loads of frosts around as well. Really, really quite cold. And if we do run it back to have a look at the temperature deviation, you can see really quite cold, getting down to 6 to 8, if not 10 degrees below average. Really bitterly cold for the UK there. And as we progress through, staying on the colder side for many areas all the way to the end of the run, looking really cold indeed. Now, if we do see how the GM lines up, you'll see actually it's not guaranteed to turn cold. Most likely scenario at this stage, but not guaranteed, as we'll see. High pressure in control at the moment, and as the high pressure moves further northwards, we don't fully see that northerly come off. The high pressure is not as strong, and we see more westerly momentum break through towards the start of next week. And instead, we go westerly with that cold air sitting more towards the Arctic and not spilling out as much. So yeah, very interesting seeing that from the GM. We can't discount it at this stage because it is, of course, a scenario, and we're still a good 7 days away from any real cold air coming in. But I would favour the colder scenario at this stage because we've seen more consistency with it, and as we'll see with the ensembles, quite a few are going for that colder sort of outcome. If we have a look at the ECMWF run, see how that does compare. Now, we're watching having a look at the 12Z, only going to 216 hours as it is updating as I'm recording this, but we'll still get to the general gist of the run. You can see high pressure in control, then we see that real northerly wind come in. Colder air mass does move in, not quite as much as a direct northerly as the GFS, but still really quite cold. If we do go back and have a look at those upper air temperatures, once again, pretty mild at the moment, pretty chilly, if not cold air moving in. You can see we are seeing a northerly air flow. Now, of course, that bitterly cold air does struggle to get towards us because we are, of course, getting into end of March, early April, where the sun is strong and it's warming up this air very quickly. But we still see a cold northerly air flows. Even if we don't get that -10 line through, or even get to sort of -7, -8, it will still feel chilly with the air coming in off the north and the northeast. So regardless of upper air temperatures, it does look like generally with a northerly flow, it's going to be pretty chilly indeed. But if we did see something like the GFS and even like this ECMWF run with that bitterly cold air making its way, especially to northern areas and at times southern areas, it's going to be cold. Let me just say, it's going to feel cold out there. It's going to feel raw compared to this week. So we do have a look at the ensemble, see how those two compare. You can see over the next 5 days, really quite warm, around or above average at 850 HPA. And then by the 28th of March, next Monday, we see a big drop off from around half, if not more, of the ensemble members now, down to around minus 6 to minus 10 degrees at 850 HPA, with the average of those ensemble members going down to around minus 4, a good 5 degrees below average for this time of year. There are, of course, some milder runs, some staying around average or even warmer than average, but they are diminishing. Longer term, though, things do return more to around or above average. So, of course, the blocking and that cold air to the north isn't going to last forever. It will transition. And what we had seen from the GEM run and the GFS run in the longer term is more of a southwesterly potentially developing with low pressure getting trapped out in the Atlantic. So we could see something like that in the longer term. But at the moment, a very unsettled northerly flow does look like the most likely scenario. And you can see precipitation is increasing as well through the start of April. Now, if we do have a look at the dew points, this gives a good indication of the air mass. As you can see, very cold from the 29th to the 2nd of April, below freezing average now, with very cold dew points getting down to minus 10 on some of the runs, real Arctic air. And if we do have a look at the 2 meter temperatures, at the moment, 15, 16, 17 degrees, again, a degree or two higher in a few spots, because of course it doesn't quite take into account microclimates. But as you can see, by the last couple of days of March, early April, widely temperatures back down to 6, 7, 8 degrees, and that is pushed up a little bit by those milder runs. If we do go for the GFS Operational Run, there's a couple of days in London where it's only going to be 5 or 6 degrees, feeling more like freezing, and overnight temperatures down towards freezing, if not lower than that. So it does look very cold next week. We could be seeing a real Arctic chill down for many people. If we do have a look at the ECMWF run, so you finish the video, have a look at the midnight run, you can see very, very similar, even more bullish with this colder air mass. Around average or above average at the moment with warm sunshine, it's nice out there, as we've seen today. However, 29th, 30th of March, you can see real dip in temperatures down to minus 5 at 850 HPA. So ECMWF ensembles are more confident with this, and you can see really cold on quite a few of the runs, returning to around or above average in the longer term. So it definitely doesn't look like it's going to last forever, but perhaps 3 or 4 days we could be seeing real cold air, wintry potential around as well. And if we look at those 2 meter temperatures, actually not 2 meter temperatures and precipitation, low precipitation still under higher pressure influence. Longer term, perhaps low pressure taking more of an influence, but you see those temperatures from around the 29th to the 2nd of April, widely only 5, 6, 7 degree highs, if not a little bit lower, and feeling, of course, a lot colder. And you can see overnight temperatures around freezing or below that. And of course, rural areas will be much colder than that as well. So it is looking chilly next week, really quite cold indeed. We could be seeing one of the coldest air masses we've seen all winter come at the end of March, early April. And it just shows you what you can get when you get one of these stratospheric warmings, the end of the winter polar vortex over the North Pole. As it does decrease, you do, of course, normally get these spills of cold air, these Arctic blasts, and it does look like one is coming our way next week. And yeah, it'll be very, very weird to be going from t-shirts and shorts this week with beautiful sunshine to very cold winter-like conditions next week. So anyway, make sure you go out and enjoy the weather this week, because perhaps there won't be many opportunities to get out and enjoy it next week. But I'll see you again for another video soon.